This is Brian Cook and Kendra Cox with DiscoverWoodward.com, and we're here at the Woodward Convention Center with Rachael Van Horn, and we're going to discuss the real Discover Woodward.
All right, I'm here for you.
I love it because that's exactly what it is. Because you are Woodward Tourism. You're the face of Woodward Tourism. Do you agree with that?
Not really, because I actually try to make my people the face of Woodward Tourism. Darcy Miller is the general manager of the conference center, and then typically I have my second in tourism, my second in command in tourism, and that's Molly West, or Molly, now she recently married Molly Ogden. And I try to have them be the face, and I'm really an administrative arm, and I'm also kind of a person who is the deal maker.
All right, so you're not a Woodward native, but you've been in this area for quite some time.
I have. I've been in here. I've been living in this area for going on 14 years, and that is the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my entire life.
Wow. Okay, so 14 years is the longest time you've been on the place.
I've ever
I think
been.
that's fantastic. Okay, so just a brief background. You've got quite a history, so you want to give us a quick background of you, and then tell us how we won you?
There is not, and thank you for saying that. There's not. I won this place, but I was born in England and to a father who was an Air Force fighter pilot, and we traveled around. And my dad retired in the state of Oklahoma, down in the Edmond area.
Okay.
And so I came up here one time doing a story for the Enid News and Eagle when I was a journalist.
Okay.
And I just loved the area. I loved the flora and the fauna, and I loved the topography here, and just the people. There was something about it that felt like home.
Okay, I want to touch on something. You said that this is a beautifully hard place to live, and sometimes it feels like it tries to kick us out.
Sometimes, and
I think
that's
I know
really
what
the
you mean,
weather.
but I want you to talk about that a little bit because I think that's perfect.
Yeah, so the weather and the flora and the fauna and everything about this place is real hardy. So you think about the red cedar.
Mm-hmm.
That red cedar tree is something that we think of, as kind of a bad thing because it takes water and everything. But it's the spirit of that tree that I think about a lot because it just survived. It dug in roots and it flourished, and it's just stuck it out, and that's how the people are here. And so when you have people like that that you can identify with here in this place, there's a connection. And we're different. We are different. I've actually done studies on the difference between the people here and in the Panhandle, and who settled here versus even who settled in the land run farther east of here. Just totally different people.
Interesting. That's very cool. I said we won you. You said you won us. So what brought you to the area? You said that you had just kind of been in the area and you saw it, and then that brought you here. And what has made you stay?
That's a real weird story because I was overseas when I bought my house, and so I think you know the story. I bought my house sight unseen. I was looking online, and I knew I needed to leave the war zone. The war zone had kind of gotten to me at that point. I'd been in the war zone for about 3 years by then, and so I picked this house, and I had somebody from Woodward, Liz Fogelsong, go drive all the way out there and look that property over. She took about 30 pictures of it, and I bought it. And I'd never
I
seen
remember
it.
this because I was working for the other company.
Oh, yeah?
And so I remember because that was the first time I'd really dealt with the sight unseen contract, and I thought, man, this is crazy. But it worked, didn't it?
It did.
And you're
It did.
still there, aren't you?
I am still there. I'm still there. I've been kind of looking in this region, but then all of this stuff happened, and I kind of wanted to see where that was going
place
to go.
to be.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us exactly what the tourism department of Woodward does. This is an arm of the city government.
It is.
So tell us a little bit about how do things work?
But that's a huge question. But basically, several years ago, we passed what is known as the hotel motel tax. And that is what 100% supports this facility as well as my activities as a tourism director. And then the activities of my second in command for the tourism side. And so what that allows us to do is it allows us to reach out into the state and even into the nation to bring events here, we are also working on static attraction. And when I talk about static attraction, I'm talking about stuff like, for instance, when you go to Las Vegas for a conference, why do you go to Las Vegas for a conference? Because of what is there.
Right.
The things that are there to do. While you're there, you're going to do a little gambling. You're going to catch a show. You're going to go look at the, whatever gorge that is. Royal Gorge. Is that the Royal Gorge? Or was that
No, that's in Colorado.
That's in Colorado.
Kind
Yeah.
of like Hoover Dam.
Hoover Dam. That's it.
The
Yeah.
Grand
There you go.
Canyon.
So geography, not my thing. So what I really, my goal is to build us into more of a static attraction. So it would be great if we had like a wine tasting train car that could kind of go around, or something that we had that, and we do have some of that. We have a great deal of outdoor things. We have things that do bring a lot of people here. So my job right now is to sell what we have, which is some outlying regional things like Alabaster Caverns. We've got Gage Beach, which is really something that draws a lot of people here. We have events like the Elks Rodeo, and we have
the
we have
Tornado
theater,
Twister, or the Twister
the
Alley.
Twister Alley
I can't
Film
say it.
Festival, which brings about 300 people here.
Amazing.
So we have all kinds of, and so our job is to just keep the schedule full with events that kind of bring people in. The goal is to get visitors to Woodward. It's different than the Chamber's mission. The Chamber's mission is to do quality of life events that help quality of life of people right here in Woodward proper. But we've got Selman Bat Cave, Selman Living Laboratory, Selman Guest Ranch. So there's all these outlying things that I kind of drag into the mix. But also, static, we have hunting and we have fishing. And so it's for us to keep that stuff up front and present in the minds of possible visitors. We are also kind of the economic development arm, along with the Woodward Industrial Foundation of the city. And so I am very interested in getting money for business expansion.
Right.
So what I'm hoping, we're getting ready to think about doing a drone festival. And this is a good example.
I was hoping you would visit about that.
Yes, so we have a drone. We've been thinking, Lori Steenbergen and I have been working together on an idea for a drone festival. And what we hope to have happen as a result of that is that it's a jumping off point for maybe a manufacturing. Maybe we get to kind of woo some of the people of that industry into this area to do manufacturing of parts or whatever. There are some drone festivals. We're looking at what would work for this area. Races and kind of a little bit of everything.
One of the things I thought was cool when I was reading some of your background information about the drone festival is that you are, and I don't know exactly what your words were, but that you find that people are surprised how open you are to ideas about things. So you want to touch on that just a little bit? Because that was an excellent example, because Lori is
she's with the theater, but she is kind of one of the agencies that I work with, and that actually is in some ways a part of my budget.
Okay.
So I also work with the museum, the Plains Indians and Pioneers Museum, and I also work hand in hand with Main Street and then the Woodward Arts Theater. So those three agencies are I kind of have an overarching impact on. And so we work in all of those areas. But really, when you're talking about ideas, people in Woodward have lots of really creative ideas. And I think sometimes they think I'm not interested. There's some things we just can't do.
Right.
Or that we can't do right now. But that doesn't mean I don't want to hear I mean, 2 heads is better than 1, and 500 heads is better than 1.
Right.
The great thing about this area is that it's so open for possibility still. This is it's almost like the Alaskan frontier out here because of the nature of living here. You really do want to have a family. Your community you have to be comfortable with your community being your family, because they are going to be your family. We had somebody recently come into town and they just weren't used to that kind of people, all
in their business.
In their business. And I said, well, that may be, we definitely are that way. However, like family, you can also tell us to get lost. And we will for a little while.
Yep.
For a little while.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything you want to share extra that I have forgotten to ask you?
I don't think so.
All right.
I
If
don't
somebody
think so.
needed to reach you, how would they reach you?
They can reach me here at the conference center. The phone number is 256-9990.
Awesome.
And then they'll tell you my cell phone number.
You wouldn't have to talk to them.
No, I've told them to tell me. I've told them to tell everybody my cell phone.
Awesome.
My whole life has been in the public, and so I'm so used to people calling that. And I haven't had one bad call yet. I mean, I could get one someday, but
Sure.
so far nobody wants to
Good.
battle with me on the phone. So.
Let's just keep
Yeah.
moving forward and upward then, right?
Yes.
Well, we appreciate your time
All
so
right.
very
Well,
much.
thank you
we
for
know that
coming.
you're busy, and we are really thankful to have you here.
Well, and I
in Woodward.
appreciate everything you do. You know, you guys are, wanting to help build Woodward, and I want to support any and all efforts to continue to get that message out there that Woodward is a place where you can call home, and we'll come and help you move in until you kick us out.
Yes.
So,
All right. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.